land once scarred by sorrow. In a time where wounds ran deeper than words, a child watched the crimson sunset and vowed to rise. This is not just a story of pain. This is a story of rising, of healing, of a pact born from ashes, a pact for life, for happiness, for regeneration. Welcome to the Happy Regeneration Pact, where African tales are reborn, where sorrow births strength, where every broken heart whispers, "I will rise." This is Regenerative Story.
Mournful ballad, deep sordid soulful haunting string.
I was 10, old enough to feel shame when hunger rumbled my belly, old enough to see the pain in Mama's eyes and know she was holding back tears, old enough to start understanding that some wounds are not visible and that exile doesn't end at the border. It continues in the soul. That morning, as the sun barely rose, we left grandmother's compound. Mama walked with slow, weary steps. Amina, our little sister, clung to her back. Enoch and I trailed beside her, stepping over cracked earth and patches of morning dew.
Hunger calls, and we obey. Empty hands in the heat of day. A mother's strength, a child's shame. Living ghosts without a name.
We arrived at our uncle's house before midday. His compound was humble, made of mud and iron sheets, with animals roaming freely. Goats, chickens, and a cow that seemed to own the yard. Mama greeted him with the dignity of someone who's lost everything but refuses to lose respect. She told him our story, how we came back from exile, how her husband, his brother-in-law, had been killed by his half-brothers, and how we had nowhere to go. He listened silently, then rubbed his chin and nodded. "I only have one space left," he said. "The kitchen. You'll share it with the animals. It's not much, but it's what I have." Mama bowed her head and whispered, "We are grateful." And that's how we began our life in the kitchen. Short pause. Sound of crackling fire and chickens clucking. The first night was strange. I lay next to Enoch on a mat by the kitchen wall. The scent of smoke, goat fur, and maize flour thick in the air. Mama whispered prayers as Amina whimpered from hunger. My stomach felt like it had collapsed into itself, but I was too tired to cry, too tired even to imagine a better place. The days that followed blurred into a single rhythm of work, dust, and silence. We woke up before the roosters. Mama and Uncle's wife went to dig in the fields. Enoch and I were supposed to start school, but the walk was long, 2 hills and 1 swamp away, and the hunger made every step feel like climbing a mountain. One afternoon, I tried to read an old book Mama had saved from exile. My eyes traced the letters, but my stomach's growl was louder than my thoughts. I put the book down. In the distance, I heard my uncle yelling. His voice cut through the air like a whip. His own children, my cousins, cried as he beat them for not finishing a task in the garden. I flinched, not from the sound, but from the truth it carried. We were all surviving, but we were not living. At night, grandmother would visit. She never came empty-handed. sometimes a small bunch of bananas, sometimes a boiled sweet potato or just her presence, which somehow fed us more than food. She would gather us close, her voice low but steady. "Munezero," she said one evening, "do you know who gave you that name?" I shook my head. "It was me," she said with a smile, "because the moment I held you, even in the middle of ashes and blood, I saw joy in your eyes. I saw hope. I knew this country would live again. Through you." I felt warmth in my chest I hadn't felt in months. It wasn't just her words, it was the way she believed them. She told us about the colonialism, the war, the chaos and the genocide, the horrors, the silence that followed it, the pain of seeing families turn on each other, but also the strength of those who stood up, like our step-grandfather, who was killed because he refused to join the killers. "The country died," she whispered, "but it's breathing again, slowly. And your generation, you will rebuild it, not just the land, the hearts too."
By the fire, she spoke my name. Munezero, child of pain. But hope still burns in dying coals. I'll carry him in my soul.
Then she gave me a stone, smooth, black, cold at first. "This," she said, "was from your grandfather's farm, before everything fell apart. Keep it. It's your seed of hope, my boy." I held it close that night. I didn't understand all her words, but I felt them. I let them sink into the broken soil of my little heart. But hope doesn't feed a family. Amina became weaker. Her tiny arms lost muscle. Her cries became thin, barely reaching the air. Mama did everything. Cleaned, cooked, harvested, carried loads heavier than her own strength just to get enough for us to eat. Sometimes she gave us her portion and drank water to sleep. And I knew it. I always knew. One night, I asked her why we had to live like this. She looked at me, tired but clear-eyed. Because they took everything, but not our strength, and never our soul. That was the night I looked outside and saw the moon rise over a dry, cracked field. The land was changing. The rains hadn't come. The crops were failing. And the whispers had begun, "This is Ruzagayura again." The famine wasn't just a memory anymore. It was here. And I, Munezero, didn't know it yet, but I was about to lose the one thing I couldn't imagine life without. That was the night I decided I would never forget. Not the hunger, not the screams, not the betrayal, and definitely not the stories. Because stories, I realized, are more than memories. They are maps. Maps to healing, maps to justice, maps to the pact we've never had, the Happy Regeneration Pact. And I, Munezero, would one day find it.
Thank you for listening to the Happy Regeneration Pact. This was episode 3, The Weight of Hunger. Join us next week for episode 4 of the season 1 we called The Sorrow I Found Sorrowing. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. Until next time, stay hopeful, stay regenerative.
She